It was a regular Friday evening in the quiet town of Glenwood. The kind of night where the streets were lit in soft amber glows, the shops were just beginning to close, and the town was slowly winding down after another ordinary week. The grocery store parking lot, which during the day buzzed with life, now stood mostly empty, bathed in half-light from flickering street lamps. For most, it was an unremarkable night. But for Michael Turner, it would be the night everything changed. Michael, 34, had never imagined raising a daughter on his own. He had once been a husband to a woman he thought he'd grow old with, a woman whose laughter still echoed in the walls of his home. But cancer had taken her away too soon. Left with a 2-year-old daughter and a heart broken beyond repair, Michael had to rebuild from the ground up. 5 years later, he was stronger, but not whole. He pulled into the parking lot with Lily, now 7, in the backseat. She was full of energy, swinging her feet and humming one of her favorite Disney tunes as she clutched a stuffed bunny. Michael smiled in the rearview mirror. Her smile made everything worth it. His job in construction was exhausting, his social life non-existent, but Lily's presence reminded him every day why he kept going. He stepped out, planning to grab a few things for dinner. "Come on, sweetheart," he said, opening the door for her. And that's when it happened. A scream. Distant, muffled, but undeniably real. It echoed across the lot, sending a chill down his spine. Michael's head snapped in the direction of the sound. It was faint, coming from the far end of the parking lot where the lights didn't reach as clearly. There, between two vehicles, he spotted a woman. She was struggling, flailing. A man had her pinned against a car, yanking at her purse while his other hand raised aggressively. Her face was twisted in fear. Michael's instincts kicked in instantly. "Lily, get back in the car. Lock the doors and stay there," he said, his voice calm but urgent. Without waiting for a response, he ran. His boots pounded against the pavement, each step heavier than the last, his heart thudding with fury and fear. As he neared, he could see the attacker more clearly, a tall, masked figure, one hand gripping the woman's coat collar, the other already in motion to strike. Michael didn't hesitate. With a roar, he slammed into the attacker, tackling him off the woman and onto the ground. They both fell hard. The woman gasped and stumbled backward, landing on the ground as her purse dropped beside her. She scrambled to her feet, dazed, watching as the two men fought. Michael landed a punch, then another. But the attacker was wild and desperate. He pulled a short blade from his jacket and slashed toward Michael's arm. The sharp sting of pain barely registered. Michael was too focused, too furious to stop. Blood dripped down his forearm, but he didn't flinch. He wrestled the attacker, pushing him to the ground again. Sirens echoed in the distance. Someone had called the police. The attacker heard them too. In one swift motion, he shoved Michael off balance and took off into the night, vanishing between rows of parked cars. Michael turned back, breathing hard, adrenaline crashing like waves inside him. The woman was staring at him, tears rolling silently down her face, hands shaking. "Are you okay?" he asked softly, his voice rough with exertion. She nodded. "Why, yes. I think so. Oh my God, you saved me." He had a knife. He was going to. "It's okay now," he said, gently. Paramedics arrived within minutes. They treated Michael's wound, which thankfully wasn't deep. The woman gave her statement to the police, still shaken but steady. Her name was Rachel. She was a nurse at the nearby clinic and had stayed late finishing paperwork. Her car was parked far from the entrance, and she hadn't noticed the man until it was too late. Her voice was still trembling when she spoke, but her eyes, deep green and intelligent, held strength beneath the surface. Michael and Lily went home that night, the events lingering in his mind. He didn't think he'd see Rachel again. But fate had other plans. 2 days later, Rachel found a way to reach out. Through a local community page, she messaged Michael, thanking him again, this time more personally. She asked how his arm was, if his daughter was okay. The message was simple but sincere. They talked. One message became 2. Then phone calls. Then coffee. Their conversations began with the incident but soon drifted toward other things. Life, loss, parenting, fears, dreams they never voiced to anyone else. Michael told her about his late wife, about the guilt he still carried, about the loneliness that felt like a second skin. Rachel opened up about a long-term relationship that ended in betrayal, about her struggles with trust and how the attack had reawakened old fears. Yet, when they spoke, those fears seemed smaller. Rachel met Lily soon after. She came by one evening with cookies and a board game. Lily, always cautious with strangers, took to her instantly. She giggled when Rachel made silly voices while reading a bedtime story and clung to her hand as they walked in the park. Rachel didn't try to win Lily over, she was just kind, honest, patient. Michael noticed how naturally she fit into their lives. Over time, Friday evenings became dinner nights. Sunday afternoons meant coffee at the park or a lazy movie at home. Michael found himself smiling more, laughing without realizing. The silence in his house wasn't heavy anymore, it was warm. One night, after Lily had fallen asleep, Michael and Rachel sat on the porch under a sky freckled with stars. The summer air was thick with crickets and the faint scent of roses. Michael turned to her and said, "You know, I used to think I'd never feel anything again. That part of me died with her." Rachel didn't say anything at first. She just reached out and placed her hand over his. "You didn't stop feeling, Michael," she whispered. "You just needed a reason to feel again." And he did. Rachel never tried to replace what Michael lost. Instead, she became something new, something he never thought he'd find again. A partner, a friend, a calm in the storm. Their love didn't come like lightning. It arrived like the tide, steady, persistent, gentle, healing. And Lily, she flourished. She began calling Rachel her angel nurse. She drew family portraits with 3 people instead of 2. She stopped asking why her mommy wasn't there and started saying things like, "Miss Rachel tucks me in like magic." Love had found its way back into their lives in the most unexpected way, through fear, through pain, through the courage to act when it mattered most. Michael had no idea that one night in a parking lot would change everything. But sometimes, it takes a moment of risk to open the door to something beautiful. He didn't just save Rachel. She saved him too. And together, they built a new beginning, not perfect, but real, and full of the kind of love that only grows when 2 broken people choose to heal together.